My friend Jake vanished, his shoes abandoned by the flap. But the real question is, what was my friend Jake doing out there at 3 a.m., wandering into the dark before he got kidnapped? Lock the doors, dim the lights. This story's about to get real.
It was mid-July, that sticky kind of heat where the days stretch long and the nights buzz with crickets and fireflies. Jake and I had been planning this trip for months. We were both in our late 20s, fresh off desk jobs that were sucking the life out of us. "Let's get back to basics," Jake said, slapping me on the back as we loaded up his old Jeep with coolers, tents, and enough bug spray to fumigate a small town. We headed to a spot in the Adirondacks, not too far from where that poor kid Charlotte Senna vanished back in 2023, snatched right from her bike at Moreau Lake State Park while her family camped nearby. Yeah, I knew about that story from the news, how she was gone for days before they found her alive, thank God. But honestly, it didn't cross my mind much then. We were invincible, right? Just two guys chasing adventure. We pulled into the campground around dusk, Indian Cove, inspired by that infamous Joshua Tree spot where little Laura Bradbury disappeared in '84, never to be seen again. Ours wasn't as desolate, but it had that same isolated vibe. Dense pines crowding the dirt roads, a glassy lake shimmering under the moon, and sites spaced far enough apart that you felt alone with nature. We set up camp quick, tent stakes, fire roaring, beers cracked open. Jake was the storyteller of the group, always spinning yarns about urban legends. That night, he leaned in close to the flames, his face glowing orange, and started on about the missing 411 cases. You know those books by David Puides documenting hundreds of unexplained vanishings in national parks every year? People just poof, gone without a trace, he said, eyes wide, like the forest swallows them whole. I laughed it off, called him dramatic, but deep down it planted a seed of unease. The first night passed easy. S'mores, stargazing, the works. We crashed around midnight, zipped into our sleeping bags with a tent flap open to catch the breeze. I remember drifting off to the rustle of leaves, thinking this was exactly what we needed. But around 2 a.m., something yanked me awake. A rustling outside, like footsteps crunching on pine needles. Not an animal, too deliberate, too heavy. I whispered to Jake, "You hear that?" He mumbled something sleepy, rolled over. I chalked it up to wind, but my heart was pounding. Morning came, and everything seemed fine. We hiked a trail by the lake, fished a bit, even swam to beat the heat. Jake caught a decent bass, whooped like a kid. It was idyllic, man. Until the second night. Sunset hit, and we built the fire bigger this time. Jake was quieter, though, said he felt watched during our hike, like eyes on the back of my neck, he muttered. I brushed it off again, but as darkness fell, the woods got weird. No crickets chirping, no owls hooting, just this heavy silence, broken only by distant snaps at twigs. We turned in early, but sleep wouldn't come. Then around 1 a.m., Jake sat up. "Gotta take a leak," he grumbled, unzipping the tent. "Be right back." I nodded, half asleep, heard him shuffle out into the night. Minutes ticked by. 5, 10, nothing. I called his name softly. No answer. Louder. Still nothing. Panic started creeping in. I grabbed my flashlight, stepped out barefoot. The fire had died to embers, casting long shadows that danced like fingers across the ground. "Jake, this isn't funny, dude." My voice echoed back from the trees. I swept the beam around, our Jeep untouched, cooler lid ajar from earlier. But no Jake. His shoes were still by the tent flap. He'd gone out in socks. I circled the site, heart hammering. That's when I saw it, a scuff mark in the dirt, like something dragged, leading toward the woods. I followed it a few yards, flashlight shaking, until it vanished into underbrush. And there, caught on a branch, a scrap of his t-shirt. Torn. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a prank. Something or someone had taken him. I bolted back to the tent, fumbled for my phone, no signal, of course, out here in the boonies. I yelled for help, hoping other campers might hear, but our site was the farthest out. Statistics flashed through my mind. over 2,000 unexplained disappearances in national parks alone, many from campsites just like this. Kids like Randy Libby in Yosemite back in '57, vanishing while his family turned their backs for a second. Or those cold cases that Park Service lists. Bodies never found, no suspects. Was Jake one of them now? I grabbed the keys, jumped in the Jeep, and tore down the road to the ranger station. Banged on the door until lights flickered on. "My friend's gone, taken," I blurted to the bleary-eyed ranger. He radioed it in, and by dawn, search teams were swarming. Volunteers, dogs, even a helicopter overhead. They combed the woods for hours. Found his sock, muddy and ripped about a quarter-mile in. But no blood, no struggle signs beyond that initial drag mark. The dogs lost the scent at a stream, like whatever grabbed him knew to cover tracks. Furies flew. Bear attack? But no prints. Hiker gone rogue? Possible. There have been cases of abductions in remote areas, like that girl in upstate New York. Or something weirder. Straight out of those missing 411 files. People vanishing mid-step, no rhyme or reason. I joined the search, yelling Jake's name until my throat burned. By afternoon, exhaustion hit, but so did the dread. What if he was out there, hurt? Or worse, whisked away by some shadow in the night? Night fell again, and they called off the ground search till morning. I couldn't leave, so I hunkered in the Jeep, windows up, doors locked. Every rustle outside made me jump. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. Weak signal, finally. A text from an unknown number. "He's with us now. Don't look." My stomach dropped. I showed it the Rangers at dawn. They traced it to a burner phone, untraceable. Fake? Prank? Or a taunt from whoever, whatever took him? The search dragged on 2 more days. Nothing. Jake was gone. Added to the list of those park mysteries that baffle everyone. Weeks later, back home, I pored over reports. Turns out, national parks see baffling crimes and vanishings all the time. From gangster hideouts in the olden days to modern-day enigmas where people just evaporate. Jake's case? Still open. Cold as the Adirondack night. I dream about him sometimes. His laugh by the fire, then that endless silence. If you're planning a summer camp out, heed this. Stick together, trust your gut, and for God's sakes, keep your phone charged. Nature's beautiful, but it hides horrors we can't explain.